And witnesses in Minnesota also testified yesterday on state oversight and the alleged misuse of taxpayer money. NTD's David Lamb has updates on the hearing at the Minnesota State House.
Minnesota lawmakers heard testimony Wednesday on fraud involving taxpayer money in the state. The hearing took place as the state's House Committee on Fraud Prevention questioned Minnesota's budget and administration commissioners. Audience members at the hearing were prohibited from displaying signs, making outbursts, or clapping.
The traditional systems that have put in place to administer our public assistance programs have not been sufficient to prevent and identify fraud. This committee and the public are rightly upset by that, and so am I. These systems represent statutes, processes, policies, culture at agencies, practices, IT systems that have been developed over decades.
To address fraud, the commissioner says they'll need layers of coordinated activities, increased control and security, better use of data, and changes to state laws.
You say you have a policy against falsifying documents. So when that policy was violated in this instance, what are you doing about it? What happens when there's a policy violation?
Madam Chair, if there's a policy violation, there is, again, kind of similar to what MMB was discussing, there is not kind of an enforcement mechanism that the Department of Administration has.
Minnesota has been under scrutiny for years over reports of Medicaid fraud, including a $300 million pandemic fraud case involving nonprofit organization Feeding Our Future.
What we're seeing is fraud happening in places where it is frankly more difficult to verify that the service is in fact being provided because it's off-site, its site visits may not be adequate, which is what we would typically rely upon.
The hearing comes as the Department of Justice says the majority of suspected or convicted fraudsters in Minnesota are of Somali descent, receiving funds from the state through social services and programs. On Monday, Republican Senator Eric Schmidt introduced a bill that would revoke the citizenship of naturalized people who commit serious crimes. David Lamb, NTD News.